Today I'm stacking them high. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a pair of 1:64 scale Hot Wheels 1972 Mercedes-Benz 280 SEL 4.5s. They're premiums, and they're brand new out of the box. Nicely detailed cars, with a beautiful metallic flake green. All the chrome work is featured. Metal bases, rubber tires, nice hubcaps. But they're going under the knife today, because these are my entries to the Four Horsemen June invitational on the theme of two-car mashups. Mine just happened to be the same car. Here you can see my Four Horsemen teammates, and we welcome Pete from Old Man Diecast as our guest horseman for this month. There are links for all of these channels in the description, so I hope you'll get subbed up to my friends and colleagues, and check the Four Horsemen Diecast YouTube channel for upcoming themes. Next month is outer space. You can definitely feel the quality when you take apart a premium casting. They're heavier, they're more solid, there's just a lot more care goes into them. So I suppose if you're a collector, that's a good bang for your buck. But I'm just a customizer. It might make you cringe to see me take these two beautiful cars apart, but I hope you'll enjoy the path that I'm tracking on today. I'm going to base my mashup on the Fury Road Gigahorse. I did this build a couple of years ago, and the logistics should be the same today on what I'm calling the Gigabenz. It's going to require a whole lot of cutting, and this is not for the faint of heart because I only have these two and no backups. If ever the old adage measure twice and cut once was true, it is today. Wish me luck. I use my little tabletop disc sander to round off and smooth out a couple of the sharp corners. That looks a little better. There's going to be a lot of alterations as well so that these will fit properly. First one is trimming the windshield for the upper car because it has to sit down flat on the lower casting. So those little tabs have to come out. Lots of dry fits today. And as it turns out, I also have to thin out that lip right in the front with some sanding and filing. Now for the interior pieces. I want to use as much as I can because you will be able to see inside. But it looks like I'm going to have to separate this. So the first cut is to take the back dashboard out with the speakers. And then I'm isolating the dashboard as well so the seats won't be part of the upper car. Try that out. Good fit up front. You can see the back. That's about right. I'll try all three together. Glass goes in, back dash, the greatly reduced front part, that's what I'm going for. I hope you won't miss the seats. I'll secure them with my resin pen and cure it with a UV light. For the very best bond between the two castings, I'm mixing up some JB Weld. I'll apply that liberally where I know the contact points will be. That little styrene piece on the trunk is to hold the upper part level. Now I've got to get them positioned correctly, centered, and no side-to-side tilt. I'll leave that overnight. Coming soon on Maple Leaf Customs, you're going to be able to see my special Canada Day celebration build. It's an open invitational. You can join in. There's an Independence Day build sponsored by Diecast Graveyard, the first of my 4 summer road trip videos, and a crazy 3D printed mashup between a Beetle and a 962 Porsche. The super huge ginormous build-off part 4 is in mid-July. I hope you'll get subbed up so you don't miss any of these, mainly Saturday uploads, all summer long. I seriously contemplated scratch building my own chassis for supporting the Giga-Benz, but this unbranded monster truck was in my junk drawer. It's easily taken apart, at least I can have a look and see if it'll be suitable. That's mostly roll cage and coil springs. Not going to be using these tires, so I can take them off. There's my original Gigahorse. I'm using that regularly as a consultation piece. I'll save these for another day. And I don't need any of that jazz coming off the top of the platform. They're easily removed with a cutting disc on my rotary tool. And I'm even going to take the bottom apart to lower the front end a bit more. I've taped off the windows. Filled in some gaps with modeling putty, sanded those down, and the metallic flake green is going to get a respray to metallic flake blue. I originally wanted to retain the green, but so much body work and cutting and sanding, it suffered a little bit more than I wanted. And I think the blue looks just as classy on a Mercedes S-Class. I got out the decorative fingernail tape that the ladies use to restore the chrome strips and around the windshields, and I think it came out well. Follow this banner link to see my original Gigahorse build. Today's community shout-out goes to Diecastinator, where you can see what he's enthusiastic about in the hobby. Thanks for going by there and making a visit. I 3D printed my own tires for the Giga-Benz. In the movie, the real Gigahorse is 4 meters high without the flags on back and weighs in at 10.5 tons. It has 70-inch tractor dualies on the rear. The rims and the hubs were custom made. They gave it a 16:1 drive ratio for 95 km/h top speed, but according to production designer Colin Gibson, the Gigahorse managed speeds of up to 125 km/h while filming. My custom tires will be mounted on brass axle tubes, So I need to measure, cut, and fit them properly, front and back. Everything gets secured with super glue and some baking soda for a permanent bond. The reassembly of parts is an ongoing process in this build, so now I give attention to the undercarriage of the bottom Mercedes, which is still open at this point. The original metal chassis goes under there, re-secured with a screw, and out comes the JB weld again, this time for the most important connection between the mashed up cars and the monster truck chassis. Once again, it's time to turn the lights out and call it a day while this sets up properly overnight. It's the next morning and I can have a good look at the Giga-Benz. It's securely fastened, fully dried up, and it looks like I've got it in just the right position and stance. I'm very happy with how that went, and that I don't have to redo it. Another comparison with my original Gigahorse. Lots of similarities, but certainly they've got their differences too. I'm blacking out most of the engine bay because that's the area where I shift my focus to now as we do some of the final details on the Giga-Benz. You can see I've attached my 3D printed barrels, gas tanks I presume, and now for the exhaust extensions that come out. I've cut a few short pieces out of some 1 centimeter styrene tubing, sprayed them silver, couple of reinforcement rods, they'll get painted up too, and the heavy duty ram goes on underneath the front grille. Even though they're classy Mercedes-Benz sedans, it's still a Fury Road vehicle in my fantasy world, so everything needs to get grunged up a little bit with some black wash and weathering powders. I try to pick up the spots where the dust would probably accumulate. Now that the exhaust pipes are dry, I'm looking again at my original. There's some hand-wrapped tape. That's also true to the movie version of the Gigahorse. So I take some real masking tape, cut some fine strips out of it, and I can roughly just wrap the top third of each one of these to match the originals. There's my 3D printed engine with lead wires and fan belts. It's nicely detailed, and the exhaust will go in place along with some extra pipes and plumbing, just like that. All finished. Let's have a closer look. You can appreciate that this was considerably more work than what I normally have to put into a single car custom or renovation, but with all the add-ons, 3D printed parts, and a respray, I think it was totally worth it in the end run. I'm super pleased with the Giga-Benz. I hope you like it too and enjoyed the video. Well, they sure were a pretty pair when I started out. Beautiful premium Hot Wheels. But the challenge was to mash up 2 cars, and I went this Gigahorse route. There had to be some carnage involved. Added a couple of flakes on the back as a final touch, and now you can see it from all angles. It's not part of the movie, it's just what might become a Giga series on my channel, where they are side by side. Thanks again to Pete from Old Man Diecast for being our guest horseman on this build. If you participated, please send us a glamour shot and remember to use this hashtag in the title of description. Coming in July is our outer space build. And most importantly, when you leave a comment below here or any of the videos that you visit, be respectful, kind, and encouraging, because we rise by lifting others. Thank you very much for visiting my channel today. I hope you'll come back soon and often. It's coffee time.